knowledge, curriculum and language across curriculum. I am Assistant Professor Chaitali Sinha. I am going to teach you this course. Today we will start with the Unit 1. Unit 1 is knowledge and education. Under this unit we have several subunits. Today we will do the first subunit, that is 1.1, data, information, knowledge, skill and wisdom. We'll see each one of them and what is the educational implication of knowing these concepts. Let's begin. First up, that is data. What data actually means? Data is a Latin word. The origin is Latin, which means which is given to us, a fact, a situation, a symbol or something. It is defined as something given or admitted fact or principle granted or presented that upon which an inference and argument is based and from which an ideal system of any sort is constructed. So data is a fact or a principle which is the basis of different interferences and arguments. Based on these data, we construct the system. UNESCO defines data as facts, concepts and instruction in a formalized manner suitable for communication, interpretation and processing by human or automated means. So it says that data is facts, concepts and instructions. They are communicated in a formal manner and interpreted also in a formal manner. It can be processed by human or automated manner like a computer. So when the data is being fed, it can be processed either by humans or by any automatic means. So data are actually basically the facts or concepts or instruction which we get in a formal manner. Data is raw and it includes facts, figures, numbers, texts, images, charts, graph and sound. So these all are different forms of data, and data is very raw. It is not processed, it's just being gathered. Let's see what information is. Information has come from again Latin word forma or formatia. This means giving shape to something or forming a pattern. So by using the data, when we analyze and refine it, we give a shape to the data. And this shape is nothing but the information. So information is one step ahead of data. Data that are processed to provide answer of who, what, where and when is known as information. Only relevant, complete and accurate data which are timely gathered can be converted into information. Not all data can be converted into information. Only relevant, complete and accurate data which are collected or gathered in a very timely manner can give proper information. And information are shareable. The refined form of data which is being translated into one or two aspects can be shared from one person to another person or from one system to another system very easily. While data which is of a huge amount is not very shareable. So data becomes information when it is collected, processed, interpreted and presented, and also it is communicated through certain system. Data, when organized in a logical form, it becomes information. Data also facilitate the better comprehension of concerned issue. When the data helps in understanding certain issue in a better way. It converts into information. Conversion of data requires cognitive ability. We need to think upon it, we need to process it, then only we can convert data into information. So here in the picture you can see I have written data which is processed becomes information. Conversion of data can be done by plotting charts, graphs and figures which gives instant information about the data, or by finding averages, percentage and other statistical techniques. So using those statistical techniques we get the result, and that result can be communicated or converted into information. By comparing different things also we get information. And the basic thing is identifying the relationship between the data, we get the information properly. Let's see the next part, which is the advance of information, that is knowledge. So we gather data, we extract the information out of it, and then the next step is knowledge. When the informations are being analyzed, they result into knowledge. Knowledge are the appropriate collection of information. When different information come together and they are being analyzed and convey certain messages, they are known as knowledge. The word knowledge means an assured belief or that which is known. So anything which can be believed properly is knowledge. Informations are read, heard, seen and understood while analysis, and then they convert into knowledge. An organized set of statements of facts or ideas are the knowledge. They are very organized and several informations come together to make an idea, and that idea or different statements of the facts becomes the body of knowledge. Presenting a reasoned judgment or an experimental result is also a knowledge. Knowledge can be transmitted from others, from one to others through communication medium in systematic form. There is a relationship which is established between different information items, and then they become the body of knowledge. Some of the characteristics of knowledge are: knowledge is dynamic, ever growing and continuing. As we have seen that data is static, that means it cannot be changed. For certain context, the data is fixed for that. But knowledge is ever growing, it is dynamic, it changes. As the context changes, the knowledge is also changing. So it is ever changing and ever growing concept. It contains the subjective realm. Knowledge is not very objective. It is subjective. How I perceive the knowledge may be different from how you perceive the knowledge. So it is a subjective matter. It is not an objective thing. Knowledge is structured, coherent and often of enduring significance. Knowledges are the body of understanding which are very systematically written or structured, and it is of very huge amount of significance which go on and on and on. It is a stock largely resulting from the flow and input of information. So knowledge is actually the stock or the bank of different information, which gives certain amount of understanding of the thing. So it is a kind of stock. Knowledge is a kind of stock which we derive or which we make by different informations. Knowledge is also the basis of our actions. Whatever action we take, we do it according to our knowledge. Knowledge can be created and can be modified by new information. As the information is being added to that stock of information or the bank of information, the knowledge modifies and they are being created. So the existing knowledge can be modified or a new knowledge can be created. Let's see what skill is all about. Skills are the ability to do something very effectively and competently. When we employ all this knowledge to our daily activity, then we develop skill. It is acquired through training. Skill developed through transfer of knowledge. The knowledge transfer from one to another and then we develop skill. Knowledge is kept in your mind and cannot be put into action. That cannot be translated as skill. Skills can be learned. So during the lifetime of ours, we can learn different kind of skills and we can practice them to become more perfect. So we can say that knowledge, when they are practical, when they are applied practically, we gain experience, and this experience develop the skill of different kind. It may be skill of how we are leading our life. It may be the skill of different kind of work we do. About experience. Now let's see what wisdom is. Actually, when we have certain kind of experience and we introspect it, we gain wisdom, gain the body of knowledge which is more in value than only the stock of knowledge. So wisdom comes in and takes knowledge and acts on knowledge to give certain outcome. So wisdom is actually acts upon knowledge so that we can get good outcomes. It is the ability to increase effectiveness. Actually, knowledge itself cannot be effective unless and until it is worked upon. So when we are working and then we are introspecting on our experiences and we are trying to understand that if our work is proper or not, at that time we get more wisdom. So in one hand, experience is added to the body of wisdom and wisdom helps to increase or make our life more effective, and it increases the ability so that we can act very effectively. Wisdom adds value to our functions. Also, it gives us the understanding to have judgment over different things. Wisdom is ethical and aesthetic values. It is unique to each and every individual, and according to our experiences and according to our body of knowledge, we introspect and we develop wisdom, which is very, very individual in nature. It is very unique to each and every individual. It is ethical as well as aesthetic. Both. Ethical means what should we do, how should we do, if we do something, will it affect the other person, and how it is going to affect my own life. All these things, all these values we think upon. And aesthetic means, will it result into a beautiful outcome? That is the aesthetic value. And when we are doing things, we should do things in a very particular and proper and appropriate way. So that is the aesthetic value of it. So whenever we are having wisdom, we try to act ethically as well as very aesthetically. Wisdom embodies the fundamental principles which are there inside the knowledge, and it also forms the basis of knowledge. So in one hand, wisdom is developed from knowledge, and in the other hand, it helps to develop the knowledge. Wisdom is very systematic. As we know, we gather data. After this data is gathered, we analyze it, we get or we add certain context to it, we get information. When the informations are being analyzed properly, we get knowledge, and when the knowledge is applied, we get experience or we develop skills. And during this time, when we introspect, when we see the effect of our work or experience, we gain wisdom. So it is very systematically developed. It is not suddenly come. It develops always on a body of knowledge. So with wisdom always ends up, or it always sides towards virtue. Anything which is honest, good, courageous, brave, selfless, mindful, lawful, humble, kind and gracious, the wisdom always takes that side. That means wisdom always go for these values. It always gives more importance to honesty over dishonesty, good over bad, courageousness over non-courageousness, or selflessness then selfishness. So it always takes side. It gives a value to our own understanding. It gives certain moral boost, or it gives certain moral character to the individual. That becomes the wisdom. This is known as DIKW pyramid. Here it says that data, lots of data, when added or given certain context, it becomes information, and information is lesser than the amount of data we gather. And when information are having certain meaning, they become knowledge. And this knowledge, when are being acted upon by insight, we develop wisdom. So you can see that the in each step the things are getting narrower. That means more data is required to give few information. Few informations are required to again give a or few, very few, lesser than the information amount of knowledge. And the knowledge also gives very less amount. A large body of knowledge can generate one or two wisdom or principle or understanding about something. This pyramid is known as DIKW pyramid. Now let's just see with an example. It is raining. So will it be a data or will it be a information? It is raining is just then a fact that it is raining outside. It's rainy season, it is raining outside. So this is a data. But when we say that the temperature dropped by 15 degree and then it started raining, we are referring to information, because here we have added context that the temperature is dropped by 15 degree. So the data became information. Now again, if we say that the humidity is high, temperature dropped, and because of that the atmosphere which has moisture, it started pouring, it becomes the body of knowledge, because we are adding certain amount of analysis into that. When it rains because of interaction that happens between evaporation, air current, temperature gradient changes and raining, then it becomes wisdom. Here you can see different knowledge are coming together. Knowledge about evaporation, knowledge about air current, knowledge about temperature gradient, all comes together to give a wisdom that it rains because evaporation is happening, there is change in air current, the temperature drops and it starts raining. So this is how one step build up on the other. So data, when being organized properly and given certain context, become information. When informations are being analyzed, it becomes knowledge. When knowledge is introspected, it becomes wisdom. I hope you have understood this. So what is the educational implication of these terms? Why we are learning it? The first and foremost, that we should know it, we should understand it, what these terms means. And as a teacher, we should make sure that data and information which we are passing from us or from text to the student should translate into wisdom. Then it is going to be added to the virtue of living. Make sure students gather knowledge wisely. There are knowledge everywhere. There are informations everywhere. But when we collect wrong information, we develop wrong knowledge. So it is very important that we gather information wisely and we develop our knowledge very wisely. Should be given opportunity to establish link between knowledge and skill. That means our knowledge should be practically applied so that we develop skills. Knowledge should not be only stored in the books or in our mind. It should be applied in our daily working. Knowledge should be based on experience to have long-term impact. All the knowledge should be based on experience. When we are experiencing it, we remember things for long term, and it gives and impact, what to choose, how to choose, where to use our knowledge, how to use our knowledge. These all we get from our experiences. So it creates a long-term impact. So most of the knowledge should be based upon the experiences, either direct or indirect. Knowledge should be converted into wisdom so that the student can be ideal citizen of the country. So most of knowledges should be introspected properly, and then it should be developed in into wisdom so that the child becomes an ideal citizen for the country. Not only for the country, they can be the ideal person. They will be happy, and they can lead their life in a very happy and prosperous way. So that will be the greatest knowledge they will get. I hope you have understood these points and the educational implication of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom, also skill. Thank you. See you all in my next video.